Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Department Podcast, the wrestling recap version of the Department Podcast. I'm Stephen Clark with Justin Valentovic. As always, we're here, us two. Jesse Norman is not here with us today. He's working at Chili's, good for him. But we have a very, very, very special guest. One of our college friends from school. He was the host of WP Sports Desk, the host of No Less Hope for the Weary. He got me into radio, basically got me into TV as well. So I credit all my success in my last senior year to him. He is the author of I Swear to God, I Am, a new book right here. Look at that. Look at that. Can buy your copies now on Amazon, ladies and gentlemen. I read a couple of the first poems already when I got home today. This man put his heart and all of his effort into this book. I'm trying to sell it. Yeah. So please, the lights showing it. There's the cover of the book right there. Please go buy yourself a copy. The handsome fellows on the back right there. But ladies and gentlemen, Dante Vocaturo, welcome to the Department Podcast.
Hi guys. I found out about this about 8 hours ago, and I'm very happy to be here. This is gonna be fun.
God, our first credible guest is an actual fucking author. He's already more overqualified for this podcast than we are. So
yeah, literally
great. He's actually done more things. I've just yelled and screamed on YouTube for about 3 months, but he's written a fucking book. But all right, let's get into it. And a lot has happened since college. This is the first time me and Dante are doing anything on the record, knowing each other for 4 years, talking about wrestling. I wasn't allowed on I tried calling in over the summer when I was at work a few times.
But someone does picking up the phone.
Wrong number, I guess. But first time talking wrestling with Dante, so can't wait to be crucified a little bit.
It's gonna be interesting. Yeah,
it'll be better
I'm
than
sober tonight. I have not had a drink since about midnight yesterday.
It's okay. This isn't FCC regulated. You can get
I understand that. I just felt like it would be better. I was also Clark and I went and coughed on people at Buffalo Wild Wings today without masks on, obviously.
Of course, licking doorknobs, licking knives.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I was very bloated when I got home. I just didn't feel like putting alcohol in my body too.
Oof, I got Chinese food, which thank God I got my Chinese food. But eating Chinese food at 9:30 at night, mistake. Mistake, both now and in the morning especially, will be a mistake.
Well, we know how you get in the morning, Justin.
Oh, you get those
toilet's
snaps.
Not your friend in the morning.
I'm not its friend, I'll put it that way.
There you go. So I don't even have to ask you guys how you guys are doing because we just basically went through all that. Let's get right into wrestling, man. That's what we're here to talk about. But before we get inside the ring, we always start outside the ring here. And one of the bigger news breaks this week is that Survivor Series is being booked as the Undertaker's farewell. Dante, I'm going to you for this one first. Is this actually his final farewell? We've seen him come back time and time again, year after year, and he always seems to come back around Mania time. Is this the actual final farewell?
I think it is. I think with the whole Last Ride doc, they talked about, he specifically said he doesn't really see anything left in the tank. Obviously, who do you trounce out to have him wrestle again? The only thing I could think of is if they want to do an actual match with him and AJ, they could do that. But AJ also has his hands tied right now with Team Raw, so it's not like there's that succinct way to get to that for Survivor Series. I think they're fine with just letting him ride off into the sunset. It's been 30 years almost to the day from when he debuted as The Undertaker. There's no real reason for him to start a program with this. Just let him do his thing.
And it's amazing too, because the 25 years of Taker, when they did it at Survivor Series 5 years ago, everyone thought that's gonna be it, and then it wasn't, and then we kept going. Yes, that's a Snapchat I sent to Clark. Got to keep the streaks alive. We all knew WrestleMania wasn't gonna be the end. They were gonna throw him out there one more time with fans, and I guess the Thunderdome is the best case scenario, just because there are, I guess you could say, fans there, even though they're on digital boards. But at least he's going out with people watching, at least people in the background. It's better than nothing. It's better than, empty, PC wrestling for, the Performance Center. At least that's why they did Boneyard, basically. But it makes sense bookending it at the pay-per-view he debuted at.
Exactly.
That's what I was going to get to. The pay-per-view he debuted at 30 years later. I don't want to see it, though. As long as he's been around, I need to see him in front of actual live people retire.
It's almost like they can't buy enough time till actual crowds are there, just because he's going to be a year older than, hopefully at that point, if crowds are back by then, he'll be plus whatever he is, add 1 year to it, and he's going to be older, he's going to be slower. And if they want to have, his big goodbye in front of people, they'd almost have to do this now just to have him at least knock the ring rust a little bit. And if it's a complete clusterfuck, just call it then and that's it. But we know him from Last Ride. If it's a complete dumpster fire, he's coming back then to, fix that mess up again, which is
also, it's a good point too to point out that the Saudi bag is always going to be chased. As long as the MBS over there is going to throw 7 figures at him, there's a chance for him to come back and wrestle. We saw Shawn Michaels, who we thought was actually going to stay retired, come out to wrestle a DX and Brothers of Destruction match a couple years ago. So anything's on the table.
Yeah, Saudi money hits differently. We definitely know that for sure. They're willing to do anything to get their top stars there, but
try to resurrect the Ultimate Warrior.
And Yokozuna. And Yoko, what
quick,
do you want them? Yeah.
I just want to go back to Survivor Series 2015 because it's one of my favorite stories. Like, that show wasn't good, but people thought that ISIS was going to bomb the arena that night. So they were just kind of afraid. I just love that juxtaposition.
That story.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Yeah, that happened. You're not wrong.
But it's like, who would be his opponent for an actual match? Like, I just
That's
don't.
the whole thing.
I don't see, like,
all the old people are old. AJ is gonna be there, but like
he's on Team Raw at the moment.
Yeah, everybody who's cool is already doing stuff. Like,
because Survivor Series is what, 3 weeks away, give or take. It's the 20th, something like that. I don't know.
2 weeks then, yeah.
Yeah. So unless they have Undertaker roll out real quick, screw AJ out of being on Team Raw somehow, they pull some loophole. Otherwise, he's stuck on that. They're not gonna have him pull double duty at that point. Because how you can have PTSD, AJ Styles take on the Undertaker and then go be team captain of Raw or whatever he's doing over there.
Right.
It's like, it just doesn't make sense.
Give me this bold prediction right now. Gets attacked by the Fiend. Yeah.
Oh, that silence is deafening, guys. No.
I don't want that.
I do.
I don't.
Fiend is the current day Taker in a way.
The thing with Fiend is like, he's the same thing with Undertaker now, where like I don't want to see him wrestle an actual wrestling match. I want him to do all the spooky stuff outside the ring. I want to do the promos and stuff, and I want to see him do something cinematic where they could do his character work. I don't want to see him actually wrestle because he's not good at the end.
At the end of the day, it's still Bray Wyatt wrestling.
Exactly.
It's good. All right, let's move on from this nonsense. Mercedes Martinez, quick bit of news. Originally we saw her with Retribution when they debuted and all that fun stuff, but she's been off of TV since, and they kind of never said anything. She asked to be away from the group. And I know, Justin, that
Smart decision.
I was going to say that. We haven't been a fan of Retribution on this show because...
Well, we weren't fans of Retribution until Ali got, thrown into the fray. And it's gotten a little bit better. But also, she probably saw the writing on the wall that it's a sinking ship, and she wanted to get the hell away from that as far as humanly possible.
You guys are hurting me right now.
Oh my God, here we go.
On the Retribution bandwagon from the start.
We were too.
We were too.
For 2
I like
weeks.
the people in it. I think they're doing fine. They were doing fine before. Y'all just didn't want to give them a chance. And then they got Ali, and now Ali's cool.
The problem is they're not winning matches. Like,
yeah,
that's the biggest
nuisances. Like,
yeah,
they're the Los Angeles Clippers of Raw right now. Like, they're just trials and tribulations to get past. Like, we know that
looks great on paper, but can they get it done? No,
exactly.
Not when it matters.
No.
Yeah, I was hoping Hell in a Cell, right? Ali would have taken the title off of Lashley instead of Slapjack getting that title match. Like, I know it was like a 5-minute nothing thing, but still.
And Ali versus Sami Zayn at Survivor Series too.
That would have been kind of hot. Like, I like Lashley and Sami Zayn right now because Lashley's on the top of his game and Sami Zayn's just Sami Zayn. And like, they couldn't have a good match 2 years ago because Sami like blew both of his shoulders out before it, and he was out for like 2 years. But yeah, like, I'm fine with that now. But like, Ali and Sami would have been cool. It would give him Retribution something, and
yeah.
But going back to Mercedes,
yes,
quitting the group or whatever, it's fine. Personality wise, I don't know if she would have like gelled with the vibe that Retribution, because Retribution for all intents and purposes now are shit posters that happen to be like beat people up in the ring. I don't know if Mercedes would have vibed with that, which is fine. Mia Yim is very good at that whole realm. It's like she could do something back in NXT. I know we're going to eventually talk about the women in NXT. We're going to talk about the women on Raw need somebody. Women on Smack, like, it's fine. They have her under contract. Eventually, they'll figure out something to do with her. And if not, She's like 40 years old. She'll be a trainer at the PC for as long as she wants.
Yeah, I'm fine with whatever move she wants to make. And last bit of news, not even really news, but it's just funny. Brock Lesnar has like a goatee going on right now. He just looks funny. I just wanted to bring that up. There's nothing to like
talk until Nineheart.
Literally, yeah. He's on his farm milking cows and raising babies probably. So
when do you think we see him again?
I saw that they didn't renew the trademark for his name or something. I might have saw online. So maybe not anytime soon. So
he's probably a live crowd worker. Like he's not going to come back unless they got an audience.
So they need to do something basically.
He's been gone since what, Mania now, right?
Yeah.
Wow. So this is a long stretch that we haven't had Brock. I don't think we've ever really had one that was this.
And I am fine with that.
I like Brock. I do like Brock.
I like it, but we had him for so long, shoved down our throats. Just get a good year.
Just not in the title picture. I'm fine.
A year and change away from TV. Bring him back at SummerSlam after the current Mania coming up, and then we're good. Just, take some time off. Bring something fresh then at that point, hopefully.
Dante, you a fan of Brock?
Of course I am. I'm a fan of like 95% of the roster. Like there's like 3 people in the world that I don't stan in wrestling.
That's insane.
Brock is incredible.
Yeah, I like Brock. I do.
Yeah, like as long as he's not wrestling Braun Strowman, like he's willing to do anything in his matches.
Yeah, and on that note, speaking of Braun Strowman, let's get right into Monday Night Raw. And Braun Strowman, in I would say one of the most idiotic ways, qualified for a Survivor Series spot by having to beat 2 other guys who are already on the team. And if you're a guy on Team Raw, why would you like? It was what, AJ and Sheamus. Who was in the match?
Sheamus and Keith Lee.
Sheamus and Keith Lee. They're already on Team Raw. Wouldn't you want a guy like Braun Strowman on your team?
Yeah, just lay down.
Exactly. And no, but they decided to have this match, and they decided. I'm at a loss for words. It was pointless. It was literally pointless for no reason. Dante, you're probably gonna say something that was really good about this. Okay. So I'm gonna go right to you about this. So
yeah, I'm here for justification or motivation, not justification. Just because I say that it happened doesn't mean that it's a good thing that happened. So let's get that out of the way.
Okay.
Braun's a dick. Nobody likes Braun. I would want to beat up Braun too, even if he was going to be good for my team. So and like Braun came out trying to like start shit with Keith Lee and Sheamus. Yeah. So I could understand wanting to beat him up.
It's almost like initiation where he had to get like
that's the whole
jumped into it.
Like a frat right there.
Yeah, if you could beat up us, you could join our group. That's all. And yeah, who wouldn't want Braun Strowman? Like honestly, like through Survivor Series last 3 or 4 years, he's been almost unbeatable.
Yeah.
It's good for Team Raw. And this was a complaint too. The first year they did this Raw versus SmackDown, it's like, why are you beating up people on your team when you have to go beat up people off of your team in a couple of weeks? Like, why not save your energy? Yeah. But it's like, get the kinks out now. Like, if you guys could beat each other up now and like not have to worry about dissension the night of, that's probably better strategy. So,
yeah, no, that was very well said. It makes sense.
And it's like, here's the thing with Braun being in like, the Survivor Series match. It's like more than likely he won't be the sole survivor. So what kind of, bullshit way are they going to have him get eliminated this year is basically what's going to happen.
Yeah, it'll be something because, they like saving their big guys or guys they're building up in the moment by either disqualifications or count outs or some nonsense. So we're bound to see something like that happen, but enough talking about Braun Strowman. We don't like Braun Strowman that much. He's a better heel than face, which he's doing right now. But anyways, Raw's women division is garbage. Straight up garbage. You can see by their...
It has been.
Exactly, it has been, Justin. So I'm going to stick with you on this one.
Oh, God.
We're having a conversation, buddy. I just...
Yeah, I know.
Why you going, no, go. Get all negative on me, Justin. I almost called you my other friend Justin's last name from over. Jesus Christ.
So do May.
Right now, so do May. Shout out to shout out to.
Do you think he even knows this exists?
Honestly, he probably stalks me enough that he probably.
He has social media.
That is a great question, and I don't want to know the answer to it. But no, just in general, you know the Raw women's team: Dana Brooke, Mandy Rose, Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler, and Lana. Disgusting team they have on their hands right there.
It's funny how the women's tag belts can go from show to show. Now they just basically just lumped it onto Raw, like it's Raw's like thing to deal with now.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I just don't like Nia and Baszler having the belt. Like they just need to get rid of them.
They're not a tag team. They're not
okay. That's fine.
Yeah, I know. It's just I did two most unlikable people have the belts together, and it's just like, wow.
One of the best tag teams of the last decade wasn't a tag team when they won the titles. Kane and Daniel Bryan.
Don't not compare Nia and Shayna to Kane and Daniel Bryan.
That's literally what they're doing. They have
I saw a thing on
every man right there.
I saw a thing on Instagram. I think I sent it to Clark where it's like, why don't we just get everyone angry and make Trump and Biden co-president? And it was a picture of Team Hell No.
Oh yeah, shout out to Joe Biden, the current presidential elect. I should have said that in the beginning of the show.
Thank
you.
Good for it.
So my thing with Team Raw is people are gonna complain that the same women are in the spotlight, and then they put new women in the spotlight, and they're like, no, not these women, and then it's like, are we ever gonna be happy with ourselves? I think Mandy and Dana are still trying to find themselves.
They're the ones I'm okay with on Team Raw. Mandy and Dana.
And then Nia and Shayna have credibility thoe. That's a thing. But Lana is just hilarious. I just like Nia putting Lana through the table every week. I think
and I said this last week on the podcast that Lana's going to be the sole survivor on this match.
I told you today it's coming down to Lana and Natalya.
She's definitely getting put through an announce table, and she's just going to be like...
She's going to lay there the whole time.
Yeah, where they get to sleep for the whole match, and then she'll like crawl in and just roll up or something for the win. Like that's going to be the women's elimination match.
That's fine. That's fine. It's one night. I guarantee you by
They've
December
been doing
1st,
this for months with Lana, though. It's not one night.
And then she's going to wrestle Asuka, and she's going to lose in 6 seconds. Charlotte's going to come back, and then y'all will be like, wow, we have a women's division.
Oh, it'd be so much better when Charlotte and Becky and all the best women's wrestlers come back. But at this point in time, women's wrestling on Raw is no bueno. But Dante, I need, since you love defending everything Raw does, you have to defend this for me.
Okay.
They broke up Otis and Tucker.
Yeah.
Didn't really give too much of a reason, except for the reason like Tucker was carrying the team or something or whatever. They didn't really give too much of a reason. So, okay, cool. They do nothing with the story. Yes, I know they're separated on different shows, but then we have on Raw Ricochet versus Tucker, and Tucker loses in a couple minutes.
Okay.
What's the whole point of Tucker being on his own now?
I'm trying to figure out how many words I was going to use so I could.
So he can get released the next time around. They make cuts.
Thank you, Justin.
Six words. Who gives a shit about Tucker?
Wow.
Nobody cared about him to begin with.
No.
It's not that big of a this wasn't going to be a push. Like he wasn't going to get pushed. This was a story to get the Money in the Bank off of Otis, which he never needed in the first place. It was just a cute moment in the middle of quarantine. Everyone thought we were never going to see Lysol again back when he won Money in the Bank. So it's not like it mattered then. It doesn't matter now. We needed the Money in the Bank off of Tucker, and Miz having Money in the Bank is perfect. I know we're going to talk about Miz a little bit later.
Mm-hmm.
Tucker never really brought anything to the table as heavy machinery. We knew this was going to happen eventually. So it might as well test the waters with him. It's okay to just have a guy be a guy. Maybe they'll figure something out. Maybe he'll figure something out in himself. Maybe he'll just be a job guy. And if he's just a job guy, that's fine. Not everybody needs to be a main eventer. Not everybody needs a storyline or direction every single night, because then nobody goes anywhere. If everybody's elevated, nobody's elevated.
He'll be a great guy to have for the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal when they have about 19 people enter in commercial break, and then they have people's music hit. He'll be one of them.
Justin, I think you said it best earlier. He's just there to get released in a couple months. He's the next Big Cass, honestly, in the End Zone Big Cass era.
He's not even going to get, at least Big Cass had a program with Daniel Bryan. He's not even going to get anything like that.
Get that. Oh, man. But I think, like I said, Justin said it best. He's just there to get fired.
That's fine.
Lastly, on Raw, it's not that newsworthy, but it was the main event, so I guess we'll touch on it. McIntyre defeated Miz and Morrison in a 2-on-1 handicap match. Okay.
Have we figured yet that Drew McIntyre is the face of the company and he's just going to win matches? Like, that's what a babyface does.
That's fine. That's perfectly fine. I have no problem with this.
He has one clean loss in the last year and a half, I think, and it was at Hell in the Cell to Orton. Even then, it wasn't. It was a Hell in a Cell match. It's not really clean.
Miz and Morrison can lose every single match, and it doesn't matter because eventually Miz is going to cash in, so it'll just change everything anyway. So they can literally eat everything until then.
And that's something that they brought up in the opening of Raw. You have Orton as champion, but you have Fiend, Drew, and then Miz in the back pocket, all gunning for him right now. Like, you don't know who the next WWE champion is going to be.
That's the best
which
part.
is kind of cool.
Yeah, it's very cool. I really like the title picture. We were talking last week too of how wide open it is in a way with all those guys, and we just don't know who's next. Is it the Fiend? Because the Fiend's been on this hot streak, and Alexa Bliss, we've seen what she's been doing lately, trying to get like the Fiend involved and all that. And it's still Randy Orton who's the champ. We just don't know.
And Edge is probably going to come back from injury soon, so you got to think they got to do another Edge and Orton match, maybe for the title.
Yeah, Edge too. I hope he comes back soon, because that's mainly a main event worthy right there if you're not running Dwayne and Joe. So yeah, that's cool. I have no negative stuff about that. It's just that was the main event, so I had to throw it in there. But any wrap up words on Raw before we get into NXT and SmackDown?
It's fine. I know a lot of people are. Go ahead, Justin.
No, you can keep going.
I was
We'll probably say the same thing anyway.
So many people were belly aching about it for weeks and weeks, and it wasn't bad. It was just like it got a little complacent.
It was bad.
And now we have a brand new roster, and it's just very good. Like Bliss and Fiend's Funhouse segments are great.
That's hot.
Yeah, like everybody's doing fine. It's fine.
It's like what you're going to get in and week out with Raw. As long as it doesn't hit a new low, that's a good week of Raw, honestly. And especially when they took basically everything that was good over on SmackDown and just ported it over. Like, it's not going to be bad.
Yeah, right. It's whatever. It does the job. It's still a long show. It's still the worst out of the three. But let's move on to Wednesday Night Wrestling, the best night of the week for wrestling. NXT. And I crapped on Raw's women's division, but NXT has the complete opposite in their women's division. They had started off the show with a stellar match between Ember Moon, Dakota Kai, and they're teasing Tony Storm was also on the show. They're teasing Rhea Ripley getting a title match really, really soon. It's just really, really stacked. And I've talked to Justin and Jesse about this, so I'll go to Dante about this. Who's going to be the one to knock off Io? Because there's just so many good women. I've gotten Justin and Jesse my opinion on this, but since this is your first episode, tell us who's the one.
The rookie. Before I say that, NXT's women's division is the best thing in wrestling. Period. Like there's no better. Like anytime there's two women on NXT wrestling, I'm like, I want to watch this. You even have like Xia Li doing this like Hitman storyline thing, and I'm like intrigued with that. Raquel Gonzalez is sick. Rhea's sick. Like,
Dante, we love big Raquel over here.
I need to see Raquel give me a dream shake in the low post. That's all I want to see. Like, I want to play her one-on-one.
Baby, I love it. I love those big, strong women they got on the NXT down there. But anyways.
In terms of who's going to beat Io, it's tough. It's tough to say. Yeah. My heart says Tony. I think we're going to end up with maybe Ember over her. I would have liked, before all these women started coming back, I would have liked to see Rhea and Io trade the titles a couple of times. Poor Tegan too, like she blew her knee out again. Like she would have been in the picture too.
The fact that the roster's still that stacked without Tegan even in the it's insane.
The thing with me right now though is like Dakota is the main heel right now. I think like NXT has a lot of great babyface women, and a lot of the heel women need a little bit more elevating. Mm-hmm. So the obvious idea would be to put it on Dakota and let a bunch of women chase her. But with Io, it's like Io is the face of NXT right now, especially with Balor out because of his jaw injury. Like Io is what they're centering the show around. They had Poppy. They pulled her out of the woodworks again.
What did you think, Dante?
He played Scary Mask again.
Did she even sing? Because like it just sounded like a lot of
it was just the chorus. It was literally just the chorus. Okay. It was a remix.
Justin, that was the oldest thing I've ever heard you say. It sounded like a lot of loud stuff. I don't know what that was. But yeah, no, Dante, I agree with you with the whole Dakota thing. I think we were predicting Ember as one of ours to take the title off. But
it was just weird that like Tony and Ember both came back like the same night.
It was weird.
Like, in the same segment too.
Yeah, it's which one is gonna be like the more positioned. I feel like we're gonna end up with a number one contenders match between the two, or maybe just a triple threat. Who knows? Maybe Mercedes Martinez comes back and then she's
probably
in that too.
Yeah,
so.
honestly, at this point. Also, Candice is around too. I know she just lost at Halloween Havoc, but she's still in that division. So all the praise.
Ghostface.
Okay, Ghostface. We still don't know who Ghostface is.
Oh yeah, Dante, real quick.
Indy Hartwell, Dante.
I think it's Indy. Yeah.
We said David Arquette last week.
the thing with Indy too is she's been at home because of COVID contraction or contact tracing, so they can't reveal her yet, which is why we saw another Ghostface on NXT this week when they ran over poor Shotzi's tank.
I know, shame, right?
Yeah.
Poor Shotzi's in the division too.
Yeah, Shotzi's like insanely good at wrestling,
and she raised her stock really well for Halloween Havoc.
Yeah, that was like the best performance in her.
So
NXT
many
career.
eyes on Halloween Havoc, and she shone. Yeah.
She did that. She did
really good.
The word. Yeah, she was very good.
Very, very good. Like I said, I went to Dante for that one, so I have to go to Justin for the next thing on the list.
You don't have to.
I have to go to Justin for the next thing on the list. I need.
Oh, I see with the rundown. So yeah, definitely come to me.
Oh, I'm definitely coming to. I did this on purpose too. We see the lads, the boys, Pat McAfee and his guys. McAfee, Dunn, Lorcan, and Birch, a bunch of goons setting fire to the Undisputed Era flag. And Justin, I need to know how much you love this.
They can book Pat for 2 hours of NXT and be the only thing on the show, and I'd be more than happy. That's still not enough time for me. But they are setting it up where it has to be war games for them. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
And the fact that they actually burned something in a building, cool. I like that. Pat is really good on the mic. His motto of "We're great, you're not, you suck" or whatever it is, and then he just leaves. Fantastic. He's the perfect punk ass, just loud, obnoxious heel that you need, and he can back it up because his match with Adam Cole was really good at NXT Takeover 30. So if he gets put in another match with the whole era and then his whole crew, it can be a really good match. And we talked about it where it just seems the natural progression is going to be war games.
War games, yeah.
I don't know how you do war games at the Capitol Wrestling Center.
They might have to put that to the Thunderdome as much as they
or just like rent a warehouse and do it like a cinematic style thing. They might be able to pull that off.
The issue isn't building it; it's just raising it.
Raising it.
Yeah,
it's just a lot of.
Unless you do just like a giant promo and let people just assemble the cage off on the
about
side.
20 minutes.
Yeah, that's
just recap the whole segments that they've used. Just replay it.
Or have Poppy do a quick concert.
There you go, Poppy concert. That's all.
Yeah.
I was watching a review of SummerSlam '94 today, and like for the Brett and Owen cage match, like they set it up there, and they just cut away to entirety like a recap of the Brett and Owen feud.
Oh wow!
So like they could just do that with that.
Yeah.
I love Pat. I don't like Danny Burch because he's a COVID denier. He's shown his ass on Twitter. Shane Helms called him out on that.
Oh, hasn't.
It was
Justin. You like doing that a lot.
Yeah. Danny Burch and Road Dogg both were talking shit about COVID, and COVID's batting 1,000 on people who talk shit against it.
Yeah.
Anywho, I like the group. I think it's a little weird that it's like a couple British guys and then
Pat McAfee.
I wish Rich Holland's legs didn't snap in like every direction.
And the fact that now they have Pat low-key bashing him for him like just
breaking
annihilating his legs. It's just
I bought you a Mercedes. Why couldn't you stay healthy?
Why couldn't you stay healthy? I still don't think Pat was supposed to be in this role at all.
No, he was.
Really?
I think it was
Pete Dunne is the person that they like.
He was the audible.
Yeah, we were trying to figure it out last week. Like,
actually, no. Oh, I'm sorry. It was Lorcan and Birch because that's what Pat had to like walk through because Ridge was beating up Lorcan and Birch.
And because it's just the way it's been written and the way it's been handled, the way it's been presented. It's been too good that this is something WWE figured out on the fly with Pat with like major changes. And the fact that they got Pete into the States to be able to do it with him is
I don't know what cargo hold they put him in to fly him
the
over.
Same one as Pac probably because he's back in AEW as well. But that's awesome.
Maybe they just put him on a boat and shipped him over.
Yeah.
Honestly, at this point,
that's why it took a little bit. What is it?
Like? It took a couple months. He was on a boat all these months.
However long it takes to cross the Atlantic.
Yeah. Are you looking it up right now?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
But yet, like,
yes.
Pat's promo on Wednesday did a great job of trying to tie up any loose ends that this feud could have, or that the story could have had because of Ridge getting injured.
Yeah, and if, like Justin said earlier, if this means we get Pat McAfee inside of War Games,
that's
all
fine.
For it.
He can do a flip off the cage for all I care. As long as he doesn't break his neck, it's fair game. Also, it takes between 6 and 8 days to cross the Atlantic in a typical cruise liner.
Oh, that's not the worst.
No one's taking cruise ships these days either, so they definitely flew him over somehow.
Yeah, on the McMahon Express or whatever.
Would British people be okay like taking a boat like after the Titanic, like coming to the States on a boat? Like I feel like I'd have PTSD about that even if it was 100 years ago.
Honestly,
I don't know, it's just me.
that's not a
warming. There
bad.
probably ain't that many icebergs left either.
That's true.
Got a
That's
point
true.
there. Hopefully our new president does something about global warming and all that, but this isn't a politics episode, so let's stay on NXT and finish out.
I can make it if you want.
Okay.
No, we gotta let Jesse and Joe do that part.
Yeah.
We've been trying to get them to do
We
it.
floated the idea. They didn't want to do it.
No, because they don't want us to lose all 2 of our followers that we have.
Oh, they want to dabble? Coward.
Yeah. Dante's dad and friggin' Steve's mom, basically.
Yeah.
All right, let's finish out NXT. That's it for this week in NXT. But there are 2 title matches next week, so I want to do a little predictions for that. We'll start off with the one that's not as enticing, which is Oni Lorcan and Danny Burch defending their titles against Breezango. Justin, I'll go to you. Who's winning?
They'll probably lose it because probably someone from the Arrow will come out and screw them out of the titles and just kind of push that feud along.
I would like that a lot more than Lorcan and Burch keeping it because I need the belts on Legado, Del Fantasma,
Me
and
too.
Breezango and Legado were doing their thing a little bit there. I don't like they just retconned it onto Lorcan and Burch for this story, and I'm not very happy about it. So.
Yeah.
I like that pick, Justin. I wasn't gonna pick it, but I like it.
Yeah, I was thinking Lorcan and Burch, but that kind of made me think for a second. Like, it makes sense. Get them out of the picture for War Games, even though we have seen the tag titles be on Superstars during War Games before.
Yeah, the tag titles have never been defended
At
Takeover War Games because the champs have always been Undisputed Era or have been feuding with Undisputed Era.
Yeah, so I like that idea though. I'm gonna stick with Lorcan and Burch for now though.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a safer bet, but let's get to the more enticing one. Gargano versus mystery opponent. Dante, I'll go to you first. First of all, who's the mystery opponent?
I said this to my buddies this week that NXT is just dumb thick with talent. Like they're like you could just pick a name out of a hat and
It's
like,
a gluttony
all right,
of
great
riches.
match.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Bronson Reed said that he wanted to challenge the winner of Priest and Gargano at Halloween Havoc, so it could be him. That's a safe bet. That would be a really good match. Bronson's impressed me a lot this year.
Yeah,
It
big
could be
boy.
Kushida. I'd love to see Kushida beat up Gargano because he's just been like murking dudes for no reason. I love that. I think Thatcher has been doing his thing with the young boys, so it's probably not him. Probably not Priest yet, but I'd love to see a rematch with Priest. If I had to put money on it, I'm going to say Bronson Reed, but I'm okay with anybody at this point.
Yeah, I would just take the safe bet and just say it's Priest for his rematch.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just kind of do that.
Yeah, I like the Bronson Reed pick. I do. I'm gonna go with someone different. Someone we don't like, but I'm gonna pick him anyways. I'm gonna go Velveteen Dream.
Didn't Ciampa beat him down this week?
Is he healthy? Do we know? Maybe it's Ciampa then.
I mean, Ciampa won the match.
Tampa looked like a fucking gladiator with the
And
gear he's coming out with.
His speech after NXT too was really
I'm
cool.
surprised Ciampa didn't fly to Arizona, be with his Trump boys after that show.
He the Trump boy?
Yeah, if you see his workout gym in his house, he's got like Blue Lives Matter stuff in it. Yeah, I hate to break that to y'all. But also Gargano with the title and Ciampa not with the title. I know they did the one final beat off earlier this year that wasn't very good, like at all. But they could do that again if they really wanted to, because who gives a shit about what happened, 6 months ago?
Yeah. Any one of those guys though it could be, but I guess we pick Gargano to retain no matter what.
Yeah,
Almost.
unless whoever the mystery opponent is, they really like. But most of the time, it's usually the person retains.
Cool. All right. Well, that is that little bit. We're taking a quick break. We're getting to SmackDown after the break, so stay tuned. All right, we're back, and we're here just to discuss SmackDown, and then we can wrap up the show. So Friday Night SmackDown happened, and we opened up with our SmackDown Women's title match. Sasha Banks, Bayley, another phenomenal match. These two women do not disappoint any single time they're back. I guess the storyline is done. I was going to ask Justin about this one. Do you think the storyline's done? Do you see it going further?
At least for the time being. because usually when you have a match following a pay-per-view on, a weekly show, that's usually the blow-off if they don't intend on extending it further, because then they would have just saved this match for the next pay-per-view. Obviously, with Survivor Series being, show over show, they wouldn't have done it then.
Best of the best.
It would have pushed it then to, another tagline. Great. It's best of the best in 30 years of Undertaker. So however they want to keep marketing it, it's like 38 names. How like no
final
one
farewell.
It's like how no one knew what to call Extreme Rules, even up until like the show as it was going on. They had like 5 different names for it.
The horror show.
Yeah. But at least for right now, they're pumping the brakes until TLC, if we're being quite honest, just because with Survivor Series coming up. So I think for right now, it's done.
It's done because also Carmella came back. And that's the most important thing out of this whole match. Carmella's back, and she looks better and hotter than ever, honestly. Wow, she looked really good. But anyways, she just inserted herself right into the title picture just like that. And Dante, is this the match we see at TLC? Is it going to be Sasha versus Carmella, or is it a triple threat? Where are we going here?
Honestly, we don't need to see Bayley on TV for a good while. SmackDown's women's division is deep. You could run back that Sasha Bayley match at Mania if you really want to.
Yeah.
Like let Carmella cook. Let her do what she's got to do. And you have so many other people, like players on SmackDown. Y'all could
Lacey, Ruby, Liv, Natalia, all of them.
Well, I think Lacey and Peyton are on Raw together.
Yeah, right, Lacey. Yeah. I'm thinking Billy Kay's on SmackDown.
Yeah, Billy had a great segment with the Street Profits.
So good with her resume.
Gave her a CV and was like, "I have insider scoops on Raw," and the Profits were like, "We do too." Yeah, Billy's gonna craft a role for herself. She's too funny to not put on TV.
Yeah, Billy was like, "I've been on Raw. I know what's going on over there." And the Profits like, "Yeah, we were on Raw too." We were on
the same amount of time you were.
Yeah. Yeah, no, good stuff though with SmackDown's women's roster. But when there's always something good, the bad from Raw got moved over to SmackDown, and that's the Mysterio family storyline.
Y'all don't like this?
It's just
I did.
Have you ever watched a soap opera before?
No, yes. I'm not in my mid-40s, and I don't just stay home on midday afternoons watching that with a cup of wine and a little French poodle in my arm. No,
I wish I had a poodle.
What are you doing these days, Clark?
Nothing better. I'm playing Madden.
It's perfectly fine. It's been fine. I just love the fact that Seth has been taking
5 months.
I love that Seth has been taking it this long, specifically because Rey Mysterio congratulated him on the sex. That's literally how it started. Rey was like, "Congrats on being a father," and then Seth gouged his eye out.
It was fine there. I was okay with it. Then it's my opinion.
After the poke your eye out match, it should have just. That's when it should have ended.
I'll even give it till SummerSlam.
Dominic was fantastic at SummerSlam.
Exactly.
He was very good. He surprised me.
But it's just very confusing now. It's very confusing. Is Murphy back with Rollins? Murphy was...
Y'all have never watched a soap opera before. This is the kind of shit that they leave you hanging on.
It must have been at the Vince McMahon slumber party, just because we have a theory that Vince McMahon just started watching movies from the 80s and the 90s and all that stuff.
I guess he finally got to General Hospital.
Yeah.
Oh, we should get Pete on then. Let's get a General Hospital.
Oh yeah, my dad watches General Hospital. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's just very, very confusing what they're doing, and it's very, very long, and they should have separated them in the draft. That should have been the last part.
I like long storylines.
I like long, good storylines, not long storylines that don't make sense.
Y'all want to move the goalpost so far away from the kickers that nobody's going to be able to go through.
Well, Rodrigo Blankenship will still make that kick because he is the best kicker in the NFL.
Yeah. But it's just like, what are they going to do after this? Now it just seems like Ray and Dominic
are take time off.
They're the overprotective father and big brother. It's like, okay, great, but it's like Aaliyah didn't have to be there in the first place to begin with. It's like Ray brought this on to himself, so it's like, who cares?
Good for Murphy not caring about the age gap.
My favorite thing too about the Mysterio family is none of them buy clothes that don't have a comma on the price tag. I mean, they're not looking at the price tag.
No, not at all.
The fits that they reel off on week-to-week TV is like blasphemous how much money they got to spend on clothes. Like
Ray's showing off his new contract, basically.
Yeah, that's all.
This had to be in his contract, right? Having his family on television.
Yeah.
It had to be.
Now that like him, like his daughter Angie, they're all getting paychecks. Like they just have to be. It's not that they're doing it for free.
No. It's just confusing just because of this week with Murphy kind of aligning himself with Rollins again. Weird, interesting, confusing. Yeah, those are the
That's
words.
the easiest way to describe it.
Yeah. But continuing on the Rollins train, him and Corbin, both won their respective matches. Corbin against Rey Mysterio, Rollins against Otis. Team SmackDown is looking good, looking really, really good over there.
Yeah.
I like having. Oh, there's a lot of heels on there. Wow. They have 3 heels on SmackDown now. They have Jey Uso, they have Rollins and Corbin.
To be fair, Uso is more of like a tweener. Like he doesn't know
True.
what his motivations are yet.
Yeah, we'll get to that later, but yeah.
It's also I was gonna say, yeah, I would expect another babyface on Raw because then Raw would be predominantly babyface because then it's just like because Sheamus could go either way.
Sheamus can go either way. AJ's heel, Braun's heel, Keith Lee's face. Yeah. Yeah, but no,
the dynamics don't really matter. Yeah, as long as you have stacked teams, it don't really matter.
Yeah, I'm very much okay with these teams. I like. I know Justin doesn't like Corbin, but I am a big Corbin fan.
Can they just have him interact? I wish he interacted with the Fiend just to send him back to the lone wolf gimmick. Because King Corbin
needs to grow the hair out and all that.
King Corbin just needs to go away. Like
he's
it's
the
just
king.
He's the king.
For like
was the king for like 4 years after he won.
How long has he been King Corbin?
A year in September.
It's only been that long.
It's been for like 14 months. Yeah.
Oh God, it feels
so
like
much longer
than that.
It does feel a lot longer than that. But he's the king, Justin. You need to bow down and respect your king once in a while.
I love his cooking videos on Twitter.
Me too.
Oh, him slapping his meat around.
Yeah, I love the Wagyu beef grilling.
Yeah, like we were talking about cooking videos earlier today, Dante.
He puts a lot of salt on it.
That's what you have to do with me. Like,
yeah,
that's
I know.
honestly what you have to do.
Justin gets so defensive. Yeah, I know.
I read this today that the original plan. Nice hair, Justin. The original.
Thank you. I need a haircut.
So do I.
The original plan for Hell in a Cell was Braun, Bray, Roman, and a 4th person that wasn't going to be Jey Uso. And I'm so happy that Roman finally figured out he could say no to bullshit storylines.
He has a little bit of
he actually has some decency in himself to know that like stuff that he does just like could be bad.
Yeah.
Like I talked to Clark about it. Like we don't deserve Roman Reigns as a human being anymore. Like he is on a different level right now.
Yeah, before we get to that, let's just touch on Ruby Riott getting a nice spot on SmackDown. Bianca and Ruby on the team SmackDown so far.
Love it.
Give me a
Ruby.
It's
a really good team.
Yeah, I don't even care who else they have. Their team's already better than Team Raw.
She's been really good since she came back. Like, why didn't they just put the women's tag belts on them? That would have been nice.
That would be fantastic. I think those have to be the ones.
They never even got the rematch they're supposed to get when Nia and Shayna had the COVID scare, right? Yeah,
I don't think so.
They just canceled the match and that was it.
Then they moved on to Dana and Mandy as the challengers.
Yeah, but Ruby looks really good with the hair. I finally like that they're doing something with Ruby because she is very talented.
Yeah, she shouldn't just be locked into a tag team. Like she can be a capable singles competitor.
Yeah.
That's fine. I mean, like being in a tag team is not the worst thing if you're on TV every week, you know. And it's probably less on your body too if you only work half a match than work a full match. Not
wrong there, but good for Ruby. Bianca and Ruby. Team SmackDown is already better than Team Raw, and Team Raw is already filled out. Let's get into the main event. Not often that Kevin Owens is in the main event of a show, but
or on TV.
Or he's usually on the kickoff show. But
if they had a kickoff show for Raw and SmackDown, you know damn well he would have been firmly planted on that show.
Oh yeah, kickoff KO. We know that by now. But it was Owens and Uso, Jey Uso, for that matter, and match was good. Good match to start basically the whole time. Roman's music hits. Jey puts his head into Owens's nads basically, and that kind of wins Jey the match due to the Roman distraction and all that. And Jey is kind of using this whole Roman thing to help him elevate his career in a way. And Heyman's at ringside too. It's just good stuff all the way around. Dante, I'll go to you because we love this stuff too.
Yeah.
I know Justin loves this as well, but good stuff, huh?
Yeah, this is unlike anything WWE's done probably the last 20 years, if not longer. I think it's really cool that Uso was very much against bowing down to Roman, but once he lost that match, it was like, what's done is done. I have to, even if it's not what I want to do, it's what I have to do for the good of the family. we talked about it today. Like, this is perfectly setting up Rock and Roman for like the head of this family. There's no two bigger stars in this family ever now. With Rock and Roman.
And perfect match for Roman to win, to even cement himself as one of the greatest stars of all time.
Year. I hope you guys realize this. Like, he's holding the title into 2022.
Fine.
Yeah, there's no reason for him to lose.
Do you think he breaks Punk's record then?
It might as well.
That might be the plan at this point.
Yeah.
It makes sense. And what about like the irony would be, because The Rock's the one that kind of screwed Punk out of that. So for Roman to beat
Rock on the way,
not only that, Punk is the reason people hated Roman in the first place, because he went on Colt's podcast and talked shit about Roman for no good reason. He just wanted to talk shit about Roman for no good reason, and people hated Roman up until he came back and started talking shit to Braun and Bray. That's insane. And it would be perfect poetic justice to see Roman hold the title even longer than Punk did.
Yeah, I'm down for that. I'm very curious to see who his opponents are between now and WrestleMania. Because it'll be just filler. It's just gonna be filler.
Yeah, they're not gonna run, Uso out there every pay-per-view, because that's terrible. But it's gonna be people who going into it are going to lose.
It's gonna be Owens one time, just because of what happened tonight. Probably either TLC or the Rumble.
It's gonna be Owens, TLC, Bryan at the Rumble. They're gonna maybe they'll do a chamber.
They might not even do a chamber title match.
Yeah. He might just have off until Mania to do the Rock match.
Yeah.
And again, until we actually build somebody up, and I think that somebody's going to be Big E, but it's not going to be this year. It's going to be next year. Until we build somebody up to get even close to Roman's level right now, ain't nobody's beating Roman. Everybody's filler for Roman.
I love that. Roman, like we said, top of his game right now. Paul Heyman plays this role perfectly too. I don't think he gets enough credit of how it's like Roman's idea, and it's not like his idea. Like, Roman's the mastermind behind all of this, having Heyman and Jey Uso at his side. Like, Paul Heyman's acting and what he does to contribute to the story does not get enough credit. So I wanted to get that out there as well. But that does it for this week in wrestling, fellas. How do we like the week?
It was a good week.
It was one of the better weeks that I've had in quite some time. I think wrestling was very good this week. I have nothing like I wish I had like a this week in history kind of bullshit where I could have been
like how I tried on Sports Drive for a little bit and it was just complete crap, so I just killed that off real quick.
Yeah. Yeah. I wish I came with a game like I did for No Rest Holds. I wish.
Oh my god, a game
or something.
Wow. Well, we did do a draft on here not too long ago, so we did that.
Yeah.
I
blew it at the end.
I have to pull that up. I really do. That's how we're running this right here. Because Dante, you probably didn't see.
Got to fill the runtime somehow.
Yeah, that too. But how far back was that?
That was in the. Oh god.
Oh, okay, I found it. All right, so I gave each of them 3 NXT picks. Jesse used all of his. Jesse used as his NXT pick Legado del Fantasma, Pete Dunne, and Finn Balor. Justin, first of all, only used 2 of his NXT picks. Okay. That being Undisputed Era and Rhea Ripley. And so there's still guys going through the roster. A lot of big names are taken at this time. And these are Justin's last couple picks. And remember the NXT people I already mentioned. And
I'll put it this way. My drafting was very similar to Jets, where it looks great in the first round. And then after that, it just falls off a cliff. And the 7th round picks are the ones who just get cut in training camp.
Yeah. Granted, we only did 8 rounds. Yeah. 5 picks per round. Okay. So this is Justin's last 3 rounds of people he picked.
All right.
With the NXT person still on the board.
Yeah.
Nakamura and Cesaro. Retribution. Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax. Nikki Cross. Braun Strowman. Heavy Machinery. And last pick, Peyton Royce.
Jesus, pal.
Not
you
gonna
just
lie.
Ran out of names to pull up, did you?
Not gonna lie. Forgot I had the NXT pick.
Granted, I didn't remind you, but
that's basically what happened.
Yeah, that's what happened. But that was a little fun. Maybe we'll incorporate games in here again. If we have you back another episode in the future, we'll definitely get a game maybe going or something.
I just for two things just to clear up here. I know the camera makes it look like I had a unibrow. I don't. And also the VOD for this is going to be dated in about 2 days because I'm getting a tattoo like right here. So all this like fair skin is just not going to be there in a couple of days. So you're seeing like a glimpse in history.
Piece of history right here.
Yeah.
What are you getting done?
It's for you to find out on my social media when I post it.
This guy can't even tell his own good friends what he's doing.
It's easier for me to just show you than to try to explain it to you. I've tried to explain my tattoos to people, and they just look at me, blank stare, smile on their face because they're happy for me because I'm talking about something I like, but they have no fucking clue what's going out of my mouth.
And then they say how it's going to be the downfall of your career.
Exactly. Yeah.
They're like Amo.
Yeah.
Ammo.
No, people thought that the O was a period, and they're like, "Who's AM? Why you have some girl's initials on there?" I'm like,
big
no,
ass period.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
with the heart in the middle of it too. Like, yeah.
Interesting theory, but that does it for this episode of the Department Podcast.
It flew by.
It was fun. That was a lot of fun. It did flew by really nicely. Before I get into all plugging our stuff, I have to plug Dante Vocatoro's book one last time. I swear to God, I am right here. Buy it on Amazon.
I'm glad your camera is right side up because mine's just flipped. So
mine's flipped too. It's just the way it is. But
no, in the recording, it'll look normal.
Yeah.
Oh, sweet. Okay, cool. Yeah. It took me like 4 months to write it. The covers are very glossy. It doesn't cost you much. You could give it to people very easily.
A great holiday gift.
It's only like 99 pages. Like you get through. It's the best like forgettable purchase you'll ever make in your life.
Perfect.
It'll come to you. You'll read it in 3 months. You'll forget that you had it. You'll buy it again.
A great read. A great holiday gift. Very affordable price. So get them on Amazon.
I make money off it too.
And he makes money. That's the best part. But anyway, thank you guys for listening to this episode of the Department Podcast.
Thank you guys for having me. This was
a
nice spur of the moment.
Thank you for coming. We do appreciate that. You were a great replacement for Jesse Norman. I know he'll be very happy to know that you were here for him.
And if you weren't here, we would have turned this somehow into a Pat McAfee suckfest because we turned every football podcast into a cult suckfest, so we would have related it somehow back to that.
Get mad at us for that. But thank you, Dante, for being here. We do appreciate that. But of course, thank you to the listeners for watching this episode and listening to this episode. To never miss an episode, make sure you subscribe on YouTube, Apple Podcast, and Spotify. Let us know your favorite part of the show. Let us know if you want to see more Dante. We'll include more Dante if you guys want to see it.
I could also talk regular sports, but I'm a lot more memeier. I don't have like actual facts. I just kind of say words. But if you like the words that I say, then you want to have me back, let them know. It's out of my hands. Like that. Let's put it this way. I didn't ask them to be on the podcast.
Yeah, no.
Steve asked me today, and I said,
did. Yeah.
Hey, the best part about this is once you say what you've said, you don't have to fill in 2 hours, and you can curse.
Yeah, I cursed regularly on.
Yeah, that's true.
So this isn't anything new. I could drink. Let's put it that way. I could drink during these shows if I wanted to.
Yeah, but like I was saying, thank you. Subscribe on YouTube, Apple Podcast, and Spotify. Let us know your favorite part of the show. You guys can follow Dante on Twitter and Instagram at Dante Vocaturo. I know he changed his @s recently.
I changed my Instagram to match my Twitter. So now all my social media brands are at Dante Vocaturo.
So follow him there. Follow us on our social medias on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Department_pod. We have plenty of stuff planned. We have a football recap coming up. MLB Hostels coming somewhere in the near future. NFL predictions.
NBA somewhere in there. That's draft is around the corner.
Yeah, so we'll do that soon. So stay tuned to all that fun stuff, and we'll see you in the next episode.